Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, minasama, konnichiwa. My talk will be concentrated on revitalizing the web of life. First, we have experienced in the past a simple lifestyle before the 50s. Agriculture was simple. Man works in harmony with nature. Communal society, the Gemeinschaft, in which man lives in harmony with the other members of society. And all was bounded with a web of life, God's creation of the environment. It was amplified by the ethical values of, in the Muslim religion, it's called Hablum Minallah, Hablum Minannas, meaning man lives in harmony with God the Creator, man with society, and man with nature. But also in Bali, a non-Muslim region, we know the three Hita Karana, the three causes, the three purposes of life, of man in harmony with God, nature, and society. And even Yogyakarta, the Sultan of Yogyakarta, the society lives on the basis of Hamimayu Hayuning Bhawana, meaning that the harmony of man with God, nature, and society. So every is linked, connected through a web of life in which everything is connected to everything in an intricate web of life. And this gives rise to the knowledge of ecology. The communal society, known as the Gemeinschaft, prevails in rural society with a natural will, the will of nature, determining interpersonal relationship. Everybody knows everybody. And the interlink between man with communal society and man with natural environment produces a lifestyle that for centuries makes man, society, and nature living sustainably in God's creation of the web of life. But then came the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century that changed the agrarian economy into an industrial economy in Europe based on non-renewable resource, iron, steel, and non-renewable energy, coal. And the application of science and technology increases the use of natural resource and mass production of goods. And in economics, the classical and neoclassical economics ignores the linkage, the interconnection between the economy and the environment. And man's confidence to master, to conquer, to exploit nature was heightened. This economy, the dominating force of that kind of economy, has ruptured the web of life and disharmonized relationship of man with God, with communal society, and man with the natural environment. This is the source behind the stories of my two friends, Lester and Norman Mayers. What is the characteristics of this modern society? The basic unit is not the community, it's the individual. Labor is a production factor. It is mechanized and influenced by mechanization. Life is dominated by rationality, science, technology, and a new bourgeoisie created the urban society. And money becomes the center of life in a market economy. All of this has paid a price, and the price is the destruction of natural environment due to market failure that ignores environmental costs and environmental benefits. It dismantled the Gemeinschaft, the communal society, and it replaced by the associational society, the Gesellschaft, that is guided by the rational will, the will dictated by rationality. Dear friends, this is the modern society. And now we are moving forward, looking to the years ahead. The Asian Development Bank projected that by 2050, Asia will be the center of global growth. By 2050, Asian GDP will grow from a current under the $3,000 per capita to a $38,600 per capita per person by 2050, while the global GDP at that time will be 36,600. Asian will be much richer than the average global person. An Asian population will grow from 3.9 trillion in 2010 to 4.8 trillion in 2050. And what this combination of growth and income and increase of population raises tremendous problems and challenges of Asian growth. Young and aging population, jobs, poverty, inequity, food, energy, a lot of problems connected with the Asian growth. Dear friends, we have to solve the challenging problem. But the way to solve it is not by moving business as usual. It is not by imitating the development pattern of Europe or the United States. It is our task that Asia must develop along an own Asian path. We must build a new roadmap of Asian growth that contains revitalizing the new web of life through nature, which means spatial planning, to locate natural resource development within the threshold of biocapacity. Don't exceed the capacity of biological life to support developmental projects. Second, we must review the way we look to nature, not resource exploitation, but resource enrichment. Raise the value added of natural resources through the implementation of biomimicry, imitate the biological rules of life. Third, we must develop renewable resource, solar, wind, wave, geothermal, get rid of the fossil fuel of non-renewable energy. Fourth, we must maintain the role of land as people's valued capital. The capital is not machine. The capital is land that then becomes shares in projects. And fifth, we must correct market failure by internalizing environmental costs and benefits into development process through government policy. The task of the government policy is to correct the market failure. The second model is revitalizing a new web of life through the society. We must move the society in which we promote inclusive growth to reduce the inequality between rich and poor, to reduce the inequality between the rural and the urban community, between the educated and the uneducated. We must reduce the inequality within the region. West and East China, West and East Indonesia. We must reduce the inequality between region, and high growth Japan with a backward Afghanistan. we must also reduce inequality along ethnic and religious lines. Inclusive growth is the one. Second, we must move from associational society, the Gesellschaft, in which everybody knows somebody, but somebody does not know everybody, into a social cohesive society. And this promote a deliberate cooperation between government, business, and the civil society. These are the main forces of the social cohesive society: government, business, and the civil society. We must look forward from a catch-up entrepreneurial society into a frontier entrepreneurship and innovative society through education and human resource development. We must look to innovation into biological technology in order to raise the value added of our biological resource. We must get rid of the GDP, gross domestic product, GDPism, to broaden the social well-being, the societal satisfaction, to be in harmony with nature. Dear friend, this is not theory. OECD is developing a new indicator of growth away from GDP. It's called the well-being indicator, comprising of natural living consideration, the quality of life, and the sustainable capital of natural, economic, human, and social capital. This is the way to move forward. And dear friend, the way of moving forward, we know what needs to be done. Mr. Norman Maier, Lester Brown has written books. The 40 Blue Planet Prize Award winners have already contributed a lot of theory. There is this new book, The Conditions of Life, of Survival. Theories are sufficient. A lot of papers has been written. The time has come to move forward, to move in the field of action. And we need a new roadmap towards a new Asia of 2050. Is this new roadmap towards Asia 2050 possible? I say yes. I say yes because Asia has the tradition of Asian lifestyle. Asia has nations with rich culture. Asia has a diverse nature. Asia's nature has not been destroyed yet, like Europe or United States. Therefore, dear friends, we can have a development promoting Asian lifestyle and promotes the development in which resource exploitation will be moved into resource enrichment, and we raise the value added of our biological resource. Concepts, ideas has been developed by prominent Blue Planet Prize Award winners. Asahi Glass Foundation has taken initiative to mobilize to recognize 40 Blue Planet Prize Award winners. 40 prominent figures have ideas. What is now needed is an action plan. What we need now is to move forward from theory to action. And for this, we need a leadership. Who can lead Asia and the world into a promising Asia 2050? It must be a nation that has endurance, a nation that has character. Dear friend, last March, few months ago, Japan was rocked by a triple crisis: an earthquake, a tsunami, a nuclear power destruction. Three crises into one. But when it was shown in the television of Indonesia, everybody salute Japan for its endurance, for what is called in Japan the Nintai Ryoku no Seishin. Japan has this endurance. Japan has this ability to move forward in spite of all the crises it faced, with the economy not yet moving forward, with the political situation not yet stable. Yet, Japan has moved forward. It is this spirit, dear friends, that Asia needs to move forward to 2050. That's why I look into the eyes of my friend Tanaka-san, the chairman of the Asahi Glass Foundation, also to Hiromichi Seiya, the honorary chairman of the Asahi Glass Foundation. I really like to appeal to those two gentlemen. Please take initiative for making the Asahi Foundation, Asahi Glass Foundation, a pioneer entity that can mobilize its 40 Blue Planet Prize Award winners into a coherent force to change the world, to challenge the future problems that we face, to change the face of Asia into 2050. With the same spirit that has proved Japan to be able to overcome its crisis, the Nintai Ryoku no Seishin, and therefore, Seiju Tanaka-san, Hironichi Seiyu-san, Gambari Masho, move forward. And to all of you, Minasama, all Japan, all Nippon, Gambare Nippon. Thank you.